This episode of the Patriots Postgame Show is presented by DraftKings.
This is the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings.
First down,
touchdown.
Dive to the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots.
Join the conversation by calling into the show at 855-PATS-500 or email us at podcast@patriots.com.
Hand off to Stevenson. Runs it left, big hole across the 40. Cuts left at the 45 and steamrolls the defender there.
Live from our studio inside Gillette Stadium, this is the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings.
Welcome into the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings. Paul Perillo, Deuce, just finished writing right in the nick of time, and I myself, Kwani Lunis. Thank you all for tuning in. The Patriots getting a win in Miami, 33-27. So just right off the top, reactions.
What just happened?
What a roller coaster, guys.
What just happened?
No, Mike, let me do this. I told you.
Well done.
I don't know what else could have happened in that game. I'll say this. I don't think either one of those teams played very good football today.
No.
But
absolutely
man, there was a lot of excitement in that game. Sort of the absolute antithesis of the opener, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where nothing seemed to happen. This was unreal. I mean, just a very entertaining football game. Yeah. Wasn't it, exceedingly well played at times by either side, but really a lot of big plays and a lot of entertainment.
That's it for me, Paul. I think this was the craziest game I've watched since we've been here. And, admittedly, we've been lulled to sleep a little bit over the last couple of years with, performances where at certain points in that game, it felt like, all right, here's where it's going to kind of go south. But I give a lot of credit to this Patriots team. They continued to fight throughout this. There were certainly moments where it looked bleak. I think Paul's right. I mean, both teams really sloppy, a lot of penalties. But overall, you got to feel good for this Patriots team. Get their first win for Mike Vrabel, to win down there in Miami, to beat Tua, yada, yada, yada. All the things that we said all week. How much do those things really mean? Probably not all that much. But when you're looking at just a new team, trying to find an identity, these kind of things can mean a lot. And I think this is something that they'll definitely be able to win off of. Lots to correct, for sure.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, just a great win, a feel-good win, and happy for Mike Vrabel to get his first as Patriots coach.
Absolutely a big momentum winner. And I see a lot of calls coming in, but let's start first with the good, the bad, and the injured.
Now it's time for the good,
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
the bad,
Hey, what happened?
and the injured.
All right.
You all right, guy?
You got to wait for the
I have
all right
to make
guy.
sure the right guy. I gotta wait for.
That's kind of.
I'm still learning the opens right now. But let's start with the good. Drake Maye off the top.
You gonna throw him up there?
He looked good.
Yeah.
Very comfortable from the top. Got the offense going really early, setting the. One thing that after game one, week one, that we saw is that he needed to just slow down the game for himself. And I thought we were really able to see that today. A lot of good offensive plays, running in for the TD, getting the Pats up 21-20 later on in the game. Just really overall reading the offense, making good plays, and it showed today.
Yeah, I totally. I mean, I agree. Like, look, it's not all going to be perfect yet
Of
for
course.
Drake Maye. And just to say, look, the second half, I mean, got a huge 56-yarder, which was a great throw, but that's a 3-play drive there that they scored a touchdown on in the second half. They got a kickoff return, and then they weren't really able to do things in the field goal. So, with the field goal at the end. So if I'm coaching Drake Maye, I'm saying, hey, great start. You showed a lot of toughness, but we got to still be better in the second half, and that's something I think to build off of for him.
I would agree. He's on my good list today. I thought he played really, really well for the most part. And I agree with Mike. They did nothing offensively in the second half, but I really, unlike last week, I wouldn't put that on him. It's just all of a sudden you come out and you're a little sloppy and you get behind the chains with the penalties, and the sacks. So, I mean, I definitely had Drake Maye at or near the top of my good list today.
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, just 19 for 23, 232 touchdowns. More importantly, I thought today, running with some conviction, pulling it down, getting first downs. Kwani mentioned the touchdown run that put him ahead, 10 carries, 31 yards, and a touchdown. So nice bounce back game for Drake Maye.
Yeah, I don't want to downplay that throw too much that he made
The
there
throw
on
was
the 38.
I liked the little adjustment before he threw it even better.
The whole
Yes,
thing,
yes,
the whole
yeah.
thing. Placed it out
Well
there.
executed.
Nice touch. Avoid some pressure. Step up in the pocket. I mean, here you're
He
seeing
seemed
it right now.
comfortable.
Yeah, I mean that's the game, folks. That's the game. Step up, make a throw, and especially there, late in the game, you needed it desperately. It felt like the Dolphins were pulling away. you're starting to feel like
It felt
the
like
Patriots
if that
had
pass
doing
is
it.
incomplete, that's the second 3-and-out of the second half. Miami's going to take the 2-score lead that they take all the time down there in the second half, and that would have been game, set, match.
Yep.
So you can't really understate that play.
Yeah.
Mike, you want to go next?
I'd love to go next. I'm going to say Rhamondre Stevenson. You know, you might remember in the
Best
pregame
player
show.
on the field today.
Remember in the pregame show when, you know, I picked him to go under 40 yards. But to reiterate, you know, his stats, 11 for 54 on the ground, a 5.9 average with along a 21 that, you know, maybe skewed those a tiny bit, but 5 catches on 5 targets, 88 yards, that long being 55. So, you know, Rhamondre, just a great, I don't want to call it a bounce back game, but I will call it a bounce back game in terms of where he was last year and the fumble issues. And then he had a fumble, you know, in a stadium practice earlier this year. And so for him to come out and, you know, like, again, Paul, and I don't know. I mean, again, I'm still processing the game, but it felt a little bit like the Colts last year. It didn't, last week. It didn't feel like they were dominant on the ground, but they stuck to it. They had some key runs here and there for sure, like the Colts did. But it wasn't an overall dominant running game effort. It was just they stayed balanced. They stuck with it. They didn't become one-dimensional. And when it came time to, you know, make some plays, I think down near the end he had a 9-yard run.
Yeah, the numbers weren't great, but they were good enough. And like you said, and we talked about in the pregame, they stuck with it. 29 carries as opposed to 18. You know, and some of that is Maye. Maye had 10 carries as opposed to whatever 3 or 4 last week. But you know, just I thought Rhamondre Stevenson was the best player on the field today.
Yep.
Either team.
Good for him. It's been a while since we've said that, you know.
Brandon Aubrey just made like a 1,000,000-yard field goal to send the Cowboys and Giants to overtime.
No lightning delays and no overtime. So those are two other things on the good list.
Right.
I keep calling it the up list.
So I had both Maye and Stevenson on my list. I'm gonna go and just go back to the very beginning of the game, which now seems like 3 weeks ago.
It does.
I thought just the plan to start the game offensively, the mix of run and pass, the decision to go for a 4th and 3 from the 43-yard line on was it the first drive? First or second drive, touchdown. You know,
the 4th down. Yeah.
I just thought it was just, you know, the coaching at the start of the game. Again, I thought was the opposite of last week with conviction. You know, we're going to do that. We're going to throw. We're going to run. We're going to stick with the run, even if they stop a run. And we're going to go for it on 4th down. You know, I really like the mix for Josh McDaniels, and I'm going to give Mike Vrabel. You know, the 4th down is obviously the head coach's decision, but I love the mix with Mike Vrabel. The little touchdown to Mac Hollins, nice little design on that play, get him off. Nice easy throw, easy play. Just really nice mix to start the game. Not enough consistency, but really like the plan at the start of the game.
Yeah, I just to piggyback, I had the 4th and 3. I just like that aggressive coming out of the gate, kind of feel like you hit that early in the game, and it's like, how are we going to attack this game? And you know, here's the play right here to Diggs. The Maye was able to find him. So you know, it's plays like this that build confidence between those two guys, between Drake and certainly with the coaches, that they're going to execute those plays when they call them.
Another add to the good list. I guess we'll do honorable mention. Antonio Gibson, that 90-yard kickoff return for a TD, just.
Oh yeah, you don't just get one. You get
I wasn't sure. I'm learning the rules,
you
guys.
might empty the clip, and Paul's got like 3 more.
So you get as many as you want.
Okay, I'll keep going then.
And absolutely, Antonio Gibson. When you win the game, you get on the good list.
Right, exactly. That's how that
crazy
works.
Sequence though, just to see. I mean,
did not expect that.
Just as a fan, like it just kind of brings me back to some of the old Patriots games when, you know, there wouldn't be a lot of defensive stops, like, you know, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, some of those games where it just was big play after big play. And then to answer, you know, a punt return kickoff again, a punt return for a touchdown again, when it feels like you're hanging on the ropes a little bit, and then you come right through seconds later with this really just tough run. I mean, Antonio Gibson, just pure desire, accelerating out of the pack there. Poor number 3 looks like me running in high school trying to catch somebody who actually has some speed. So
was that the one where Vrabel was running down the sideline as well?
Yeah. Had to go get my guy.
Right. Check on him.
I see what you did there, Jules.
Yeah. What else? You again, Paul? Or who's up again? Or am I up again?
If you have one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to put Harold Landry on there.
Oh, yeah, BC.
I just, you know, and look,
2 weeks in a row, I get to say BC.
Like, I don't have a lot of defensive players.
No, for sure. I think that's going to be in our bad conversation.
I'm not even sure he played.
On this. But, you know, we're kind of in the play territory. And, you know, for me, that 3rd and 7, we had to set up the 4th and 9 at the end that where Mapu intercepted it. I mean, I felt like that was a key moment in the game. Yep. Usually I'd like to have a few checks next to a guy before I put him on the good list, but I felt like in crunch time, you come through with a big play like that, you got the edge. I'm going to give it a little shout out to Harold Landry.
I think you put them together. You said Mapu and also Milton Williams ending the game with that sack that kind of just solidified the game because we thought this was going into overtime. Yeah. So I think the three of them.
Paul's crazy prediction.
I was waiting for the guy to. I thought Miami would score and miss the extra point.
Oh, I thought
just the way the game was going. But yeah, sense. I mean, Miami just refused to score. I mean, let's call it what it was. They can't even line up and snap the ball.
Yeah.
Like on the last 2 drives, they just went backwards.
Yeah.
All on their own. I'm going to give the. I don't have anything good to say really about the defense, except for this one thing that I put on my good list. They did something in like the middle of the third quarter, late in the third quarter into the fourth quarter, where they made some sort of adjustment in run defense, and they started to create some 2nd and 9s instead of 2nd and 3s. I don't know and I'm not Evan, so I'm not going to sit here and break it down and tell you exactly what they did differently, but they were able to bottle up Achane a little bit. He ends up with 11 carries for 30 yards, and he got off to a good start in the game. So I think that they created some longer distance 2nd downs and 3rd downs, and mostly it didn't work. They converted them anyway until they started just committing the delay of games and the false starts to go backwards. But I'm going to put that some kind of a late defensive adjustment.
I like that.
That stopped the run. And it was maybe like 4 or 5 plays, but the last handful of runs that Miami tried, whether it was Malik Washington or Achane, they seemed to bottle up.
Yeah.
And something changed because all their runs were successful in the first half.
I think that's a great call out. We'll be sure when we grind the film to
yeah, I'll leave that for you guys. Individual play-wise, we didn't really see him targeted at all day except for the one time, but great touchdown catch for Kayshon Boutte. You called upon once in a game. We need you to make a play. That's a great play.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting echoing the call we had in the pregame show where
I wrote it down.
Guys asked
Jeremiah.
us to see, and I think we all just say, like, I don't know if he's going to be that in and out, but coming through, clutch play.
But I would also call out the guy that called for the 3-receiver set with Hollins instead of Douglas, and I do think that they did use that a little bit.
Yep.
And that helped
they had
Drake
Hollins
May
in
get
the
the
slot.
offense, which is what he said, get him in the rhythm, get him comfortable.
Yeah.
And I think it worked.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with the goods.
Well, just one thing that you said during the game, Miami is getting in their own way. They're unstoppable, and then inept. Like it was just this perfect combination, which I think was obviously good for the Patriots, but obviously not great for Miami.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those things where, some of the calls were maybe a little ticky-tack, Mike Vrabel, and I think both sides. So it's a little bit of those, how is business being done? Do we come out of this saying the Patriots are a sloppy team, the Dolphins are a sloppy team? Maybe a little bit, but, I just...
It's 2 bad teams today.
They have to improve that. I mean, they had 9 penalties last week. I'm looking to look right now exactly what the final numbers were.
For today.
Here, where's my... Yeah, so
12.
12 for 75. Dolphins had 10 for 65. So, I think...
The Dolphins center twice didn't snap the ball while everybody else moved.
And
twice.
This is nobody on a good or bad, or I guess it's bad list for the Dolphins, but it just felt like when the Dolphins were in need to have it mode, that's when they continued to have those penalties.
The last 2 drives, they were unstoppable all day. The last 2 drives when they needed to go down and kick a field goal and then get a touchdown, they're not snapping the ball while the other 10 guys are moving.
Exactly.
They're getting delay of games coming out of that.
Yep.
Because they can't get the play in time. That's just that's why they're in the situation that they're in. That's why people are calling for the coach's job.
So that being said, going to the bad.
Yeah, we better get the bad stuff.
Too many penalties is the first thing I wrote in all caps. It's very obvious.
Yeah, a lot of penalties.
On both sides,
12
obviously.
for 75 is just inexcusable.
Morgan Moses, 3 false starts.
It's just all over the place.
Everywhere.
Too.
Everyone had them.
There's just
handing them out.
There's offsides. There's false starts. Holds. It's a potpourri of penalties.
And TreVeyon Henderson had 3.
TreVeyon Henderson had 3 freaking penalties. Like that to me was like
2 holds
32?
and then a penalty on special teams.
So
and at first I wanted to get mad because Will Campbell, we know the rookie. At first, when I started writing my notes, I was like, all right, that false start, another false start, what's going on? But now you realize you can't even blame a rookie because veterans and rookies alike were just not.
Yeah, we're still in the grace period, Will Campbell.
For sure, exactly. I don't want to throw him under the bus.
But yeah, no question. And I think some other rookies maybe not quite in the grace period as much because I'm going to, throw Borregales on there.
Yeah.
As much as I, appreciated that hitting that field goal at the end. He was
on my list too.
That was a big part of it. But, to miss 2 extra points in the first quarter.
Not okay.
That just is unacceptable. And, I said to Paul, we watched these guys all training camp. our friend Alex Barth is tracking every kick, and John Parker Romo was neck and neck with him, and I think most people would tell you that he probably had the edge. So Borregales missed a field goal last week, missed these 2 kicks this week, then had the kickoff at the end, which almost worse than the 2 missed extra points. Although those cost you points, so it's hard to say that. But
but I know what you mean.
Like
you're given really good field position to start a drive that the other team needs a touchdown. It's a tough day. I mean, good for him for showing some resolve and making a 53-yarder. But that this isn't. This isn't high school and college where you're like, oh, he made that one.
Yeah, that redemption
you got to make them all.
Yeah, right.
You have to make them all, within reason. And, that's 3 missed kicks, 3 chip shot missed kicks in the first 2 weeks of the season. No, that's not good.
No, he needs to be like a quiet start. I mean, I seem to remember Steven Gosowski when he first came here in 2006, having to replace Adam Vinatieri, just kind of made his kicks and got maybe a little less pressure on him. I don't know, but they had Tom Brady in that offense back then, but not good enough from Borregales. He's got to be better, or you're gonna see kickers start coming in tomorrow.
And as a broadcast, made sure to know he played in Miami, so he knows
the
weather was no excuse.
This is your home stadium. Get out of here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any other bads?
Yeah, I have a lot.
Defense, a lot of bads.
I mean, I could probably individually go to all 11 guys on defense, but I won't do that. Let's go with the special teams just in general. Mike mentioned the kicks missing, which I don't necessarily count as special teams, even though it is. You get penalties again, multiple penalties on special teams. You allow a 70-whatever-yard punt return to fall behind in the second half on the fourth quarter. Now, I know that, again, they bounce back. This isn't high school again. It's not like, well, they did okay. No. You can't allow punt returns for touchdowns.
Yeah.
They got, earlier in the game, you get just a ridiculous holding call on a punt where, you ended up having, to re-kick it, and you got fortunate that you got a really good re-kick. But that's a dangerous situation down in Miami in that heat to have to cover 2 punts in a row. They were lucky it only cost them 3 yards because they would have had it at the 41. They ended up at the 44 only because Barringer really got a nice bomb off the second time around. But just too much sloppiness, I think, overall in the kicking game. That needs to be better.
Can I ask you a question, just a side
You can ask
call?
any question you want, Mike.
Do you think with these new kickoff rules, we're seeing a little bit more of what the NFL might want and people missing the zone, kicks getting returned?
Yes.
I mean,
No, the kickoff returns,
it's getting a little more hairy with these kickoffs now.
You mentioned that. I just would wonder, at what point do these teams just decide, why are we overthinking this? It's at the 35-yard line as opposed to the 30 last year. Just kick it in the end zone.
Right.
Give them the 35. We're worrying about finding the landing zone, then we miss it and it's out to the 40. Just like if this is this much of a problem, Gibson had a situation where he really had a hard time. He had a hard time handling one at the end of the half, which I thought there was like 35 seconds left in the half after Miami scored the touchdown to get within 15-14. I thought they had a chance to maybe get a 2-minute drive going, and Gibson mishandles that and ended up starting at their own 4. They have to take the knee.
Yeah.
But I think you make a good point, Mike. I think they might be overthinking a little bit. Just like kick it into the end zone and let them decide if they want to return it or not. But the special teams have been sloppy in the first couple of weeks. They've made some good plays too. Like Antonio Gibson won a game for you today.
Exactly.
And then Borregales, like I said, good for him for responding and making a 53-yarder. But this can't be a couple of good, couple of bad. That's not good special teams.
That's not going to win anything.
That's inconsistent special teams.
No.
What else do you have?
End of first half, I said it to Paul when they got the ball back. It was just before the 2-minute warning. And, just situational football has been something that's haunted me over the last couple of years. It just feels like there's too much time. And I wish I could say I was surprised. But I was surprised it only took 6 plays to go 77 yards. That was a continuation of the first drive that they scored, 883, then 677. I mean, Miami, other than the 2 punts that they had extended drives, 8 plays, 6 plays, 7 plays, 9 plays, 9 plays, 7 plays. They were stringing it all together. But that end of half situation, we got to find a way for this team to be able to close things out and get into the locker room without giving up a late score. And, really, I think the arrow points more directly to the defense as the whole. Just not, great day for them. Tua was tough again. I mean, this is what he does to these Patriots teams, but the half especially, give up points before going in the locker room.
Yeah, the tackling overall defensively has been really shoddy.
Yeah.
They're very fortunate that Achane steps out of bounds by a half a width of a foot, really on his own.
That was luck, yeah.
It's not like he was forced out of bounds. He was making a cut and he just lost track of where he was, or the Patriots are going to be trailing with a minute left in the game. I thought Christian Ellis, his tackling was tough. Robert Spillane's tackling was really bad. And Alex Austin, I think, really struggled today. Coverage, I thought he lost Waddle on the touchdown. He lost Tyreek Hill and was fortunate that the pass was so underthrown that Hill had to come back to get it. But the defense today was just not good. And they had really almost no pressure until the desperation times at the end of the game, again, that were created by the Dolphins.
Yeah.
The false starts and the delay of games at the end of the game set up Milton Williams and Harold Landry's success.
Exactly.
Yeah, that play that they just showed there, the bomb to Hill. That's when I really thought things were going
just
bad.
Open all day, and even after one of the, I think the false start delay of game on the second to last drive. You see how far behind Austin he is on that play, and he had to come back and get it. But even there was a throw that he makes to Tyreek Hill on 2nd and 20 or 1st and 20 after the combination platter of the false start and delay a game the first time around. He has him wide open, just throws it over his head.
Yeah.
So I know they're without Christian Gonzalez. I said this last week. He's your best player. You're missing him. It should look better theoretically if he's in there. But what is in there hasn't looked very good to me.
No.
I mean, I know it's another day they probably only allowed 20 points. Everybody's going to hang their hat on that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, geez, they forced 6 incomplete passes the whole day. Another guy throws for 300 yards on you.
That's what I found myself thinking as I'm watching this. Is I'm like, is Gonzalez enough?
Yeah.
Is this enough of a boost? Because they were behind it a lot today.
And they didn't even have the ball in the first half. The Patriots controlled the ball for 22 minutes of the first half, and they still allowed 14 points.
Yep.
So one thing we didn't get to mention in the pregame show is Terrell Williams being out, the defensive coordinator. What role do you think that played, especially as we lament over the frustration of watching this defense today?
I mean, if they had played better last week defensively, I would say that was a big factor.
Fair,
but
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's certainly not ideal to not have your defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
They spent a good chunk of the offseason under the same guidelines they had today with Zach Core running the show. I thought, to Mike's point about Harold Landry and Milton Williams at the end, I mean, they did something. They adjusted in some way with the game on the line to come up with enough plays. So I'll give them credit for that. But I don't know how much of a difference it would have been with Terrell Williams. Hard to quantify.
And just to point out, Terrell Williams calling plays for the first time in his career last week, and then Zach Core is calling plays for the first time in his career. I don't know. It looked like Tua to me. That's what he usually looks like. We were at the point where anytime he threw the ball in rhythm, I'm like, yep, that's going to be complete. Like you can just tell.
And even today, I mean, and they did a good job of pointing this out. As many times as I can remember with Tua, he was patting the ball, looking around, and still finding guys. Yeah. Usually that's not his strength. Usually it's the guy I want to go to first is there, and the throw is quick. And Mike and I just looking, oh, that's going to get complete. But today it's like he's looking left, he's looking right, he's coming back, he's dumping it off, and he saw the field pretty well today. He just, unfortunately, at the end of the game, they couldn't make one more play. But, I want to throw in Kayvon Chason, too. Very, very early in the game, first third down of the game, you come up with a pick, and he lines up offside.
Yeah.
To negate that. It ended up being offsetting penalties. But, I mean, just... You can't do that. It's not like, an illegal hand to the face. Oh, your hand got caught up. It was inadvertent. It happens. Like you lined up in the neutral zone twice. He did it. But that play was really big because it cost them a turnover early in the game.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Just not good defense.
Yeah, today. I think you've nailed it. I don't know if I have anybody more specific, but I would echo those general sentiments, especially if just. The penalties, the sloppiness, the untimeliness of some of those penalties, and just overall, better fundamentals on defense, the tackling, and just the linebackers too. Need more out of those guys. I was hoping for more today, and they got picked on just like our big slow linebackers got picked on with these guys.
All right. Well, the silver lining, I guess, is the fact that they did break that streak back from Tua 7-0
Yeah,
now.
I don't know what matters. I don't know what it counts
So
for.
they don't have to. I mean, at least
Yeah,
if nothing else, they don't have to hear about that.
Yeah,
anymore,
exactly. It's
you
just
know,
a
in this
random
game.
stat that someone found.
I'd have felt a lot better if it looked different than this, but I don't
true.
care. They needed a win.
Yeah, they needed it. They were
They
desperate.
needed a win.
The franchise was desperate.
And it was an extremely entertaining game.
It really
Man.
was.
I couldn't wrap my head around it. It was just back and
It was
forth.
emotional. It was
Usually the little write-up I do for the game isn't that long. It's like a novel today because it was just back and forth and scoring and scoring and scoring. And, you know, I feel like sometimes, aside from the mistakes, this is the kind of game the NFL wants. You know, you got special team scores and you got it coming right down to the end. It's exciting.
Make sure you go read that write-up, by the way. Patriots.com.
Yeah, Rapid Recap should already be up
He
there.
was working hard.
Let me know
I
if there's
saw.
any typos. So just for injured, I
let's get
had
into
Craig Woodson.
They all
got
came
looked
back.
at, came back. Yeah,
Carlton Davis
got
or
looked at, came back, and
Barmore
Christian
came back.
Barmore came back. Did I hear you say Marty Mapu?
Marty Mapu,
yeah, Mapu
but
got
he came
injured
back.
towards the end,
He
yeah.
came back too, I think.
And then Chop Robinson went to the 10, but I think he came back out for Miami as
Yeah,
well.
we're not
I
worried
couldn't-
about Chop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I was giving both
You
sides.
could do the other team on your own time. But I definitely felt like it was a typical Miami game. The heat was a factor. You could see the defense on the sideline there at one point. There was a lot of fans going over there, so I think they got worn down a little bit. Listen, there was just a lot of twists and turns in that game. Hats off for the Patriots, you know, sort of staying the course and sticking with it. I think there was times in this game in years past that were said they're going to lose this game. And it probably, you can't ever do this, but it probably comes down to that third and whatever, 4 or 5, where Maye just buys a split second of time to find Stevenson on that pass down the sideline. If that's an incomplete pass, I'm here to tell you I think the Patriots lose this game, and I don't think it's close. I think Miami takes over up 20-15. They probably make it 27-15, and here we go.
You know exactly what was in my head, Paul. I'm looking at that thing. I'm like, oh boy.
Because I felt at that point Miami had taken control of the game.
Yeah,
It did seem like
for
that.
sure. How could you not? I mean, it's you come out of the locker room, or not out of the locker room, but you go 3 and out in your first possession for the Patriots. You know, they needed that one.
Third and 3. If that's incomplete, you're punting from deep in your own end. Dolphins are probably taking over around their 30, 35, decent field position, coming back the other way, and they hadn't really been stopped.
Yeah. Feel good for Rhamondre too. Though. I kind of said it already, but just the guy
Best player in the field
gotten
today.
beaten up a lot, and I mean I don't have it off the top of my head, but you'd probably have to go back pretty good into last year, if not the year before, when you found him being as productive as he was in this game. And this to me looked like
that's a great throw too for.
Oh, it
Jalen. I
is.
mean, I know it's a great catch too.
Yeah.
It's not an easy catch for a
but
running
it
back,
is
especially.
up there. And
So smooth.
right when he threw it, I was wondering if he was going to be able to get it over.
Yeah.
I felt really good for him because there was a lot of. We need to flip-flop the roles. It's got to be Henderson. It's got to be Henderson.
Yeah,
And
right.
No disrespect to Henderson,
yeah.
but I didn't see anything that Rhamondre Stevenson did wrong last week to get the amount of criticism that he got during the course of this week. And obviously, I feel really good for Drake Maye because early in his career, last year was the honeymoon. When he had a second half like he did last week, last year it was like, he's a rookie. All of a sudden, he's one game out of his rookie year. It's like, well, we need results now.
Yeah.
And I'm not making fun of anybody. We were all doing it
sure,
too. I'm
yeah.
not. This is not like my normal, crap all over the media for
We
me.
like your rationale. It's important.
Because we were all doing it too. So
Yeah.
this is a nice bounce back game for both of those guys. I thought Maye and Stevenson.
Yeah, this is a place that if Drake Maye is going to be the guy, he's going to have to play there a lot. He's going to have to win there. So to get one under his belt, it's a place, Tom Brady, remember famous 2003, that overtime win that he had there. This wasn't the win that J.J. McCarthy had last week when you could all point to him and everyone in the locker room was like, this is the guy. But just to get that box kind of checked and say, hey, you've won one in Miami. Let's go do it again, because he's going to have to go there every year and play these kind of games. And let's face it, whether it's Tua or Dan Marino or whoever, this is how it kind of looks. These games are crazy.
Mark in Cheddar sent us an email talking about Drake Maye. He said, just to check in, was this officially Maye's first fourth quarter comeback in a game where he literally had zero to do with coming back from behind in the fourth? An example of why I hate that stat. And also adding in, I'm assuming the CBS broadcast is on the bad list for the awful.
It is actually
technical
not. The
difficulties.
Patriots were leading heading into the fourth quarter.
There we go.
There you go. That
All right,
stupid
sorry.
kickoff return.
Yeah.
Was that what did it? I don't know. But yeah,
No, but the
that's like where you get, yeah.
But fourth quarter comebacks are tabulated by
who's
who's leading
leading.
going into the
Ah,
fourth
that makes
quarter.
sense, yeah.
The official stat.
Right.
Now,
Still technically, yeah.
if they went 7 plays for 75 yards while down 27-23 instead of, I would say, no, that counts as a comeback.
Oh,
But
so in this one, no.
Yeah.
I can't go with a kickoff return.
Yeah, we don't have to get too carried away.
Yeah.
A win's a win. And, this
Exactly.
this
And the
team
more
needs
important
it.
thing is your quarterback played a good game today.
Yeah, he did.
And I know that Mark is not saying, it's all about the comeback, but they needed to see him, and I think he needed to see, the basketball analogy of the ball going through the hoop. He was good today. I mean, 19 for 23, 230 yards. He did a good job today. The only play I would put on him at all, which I didn't like, and I didn't mind the play call, but second down on the last drive. After the Mapu interception, you need a first down. I love throwing the ball. You know this, Mike. I'm always like to be very aggressive in those situations. That play needs to be a play action and a guy's wide open. And if he's not wide open, I want him either to find a way to run or just drop down and take the sack. Because the more important thing there is to keep the clock running. That was thrown, first of all, with a guy too close to Mac Hollins for my liking. And the incomplete pass hurt you.
Yeah.
You can't take the incomplete. He's undercut. I think that's Jack Jones, too.
Don't throw it out on him.
He's sort of undercutting there, looking for you to make a bad play. That's the only play that I would have a problem with Drake May's decision-making at all today.
Yeah.
The only one.
I agree. That was the one.
Thought he had a
play where
really
it's
clean
like,
slate today.
Missing a chance, but yeah.
I didn't
absolutely.
see anything close to an interception or a turnover today.
No, and even taking sacks. Like sometimes, it's like I'll take the sack.
Cover the ball up,
sometimes,
take the sack, live to fight another
day. Don't try
day.
to do too much. So maybe some growth there from young Drake and validation, which is just important.
Yeah. We're going to hear from Antonio Gibson in just a second. We're going to have a conversation with him. But while we wait, let's talk to Steve, who's actually down in Miami right now. See what he has to say. Hi, Steve. Oh,
Steve
is partying away. Are you still there, Steve? Oh, no. All right, Nate in Connecticut. How are you doing?
You guys hear me good?
Yes, we hear you.
Hey, Nate.
All right, brace yourselves. But let's go. We won. That was our game today. Let's go. We did have some sloppiness with the kicks and the defense, but that of course is fixable. I do have one critique. I feel like we could have used Kayshon Boutte a little more.
Did he leave?
We lost them.
We lost them.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
talk about
not
Boutte?
here for that.
We got
He had 4 incomplete passes in the game. I don't mind who they threw to.
All right, so Antonio Gibbs is calling in right now. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hey, Antonio, congratulations on the win. Just got to ask you about the kickoff return, though. What did you see there, and how were you able to break away and deliver that big score?
The guys was talking on the sideline. Jack was telling me his guy kept going outside, and the forward, my read, was telling me he was just staying head up. Gibby was telling me he was staying head up, so I said I was just going to trust it, run straight. I ran straight, ran into the back of him, ended up breaking out, man. The rest was that.
Antonio, did you realize you needed to also outrun Mike Vrabel down the sideline on the play?
I keep hearing that. I need to run faster if he was close to me.
No, he looked like he was going to run you down. I'm not going to lie. He still looks like he can play.
I need to speed up.
Antonio, just what are your thoughts on this new kickoff this year where they tweaked the rules a little bit? Because it seems like we're seeing a lot more, balls not landing in the kick zone or getting returned. It seems like this play is now being what the NFL wants it to be and actually being impactful in the game.
Yeah, I think this is what they tried to do last year. They wanted more returns, but I feel like they set it up nice this year. So if they do kick it in the zone, it's a big penalty. So you see a lot of more kids being taken out. I'm pretty sure you'll see a lot more plays being made this year.
Antonio, there are a lot of ups and downs in this game. I'm sure, obviously, being on the field is a different perspective than we had. But how do you stay in a game like this where your opponent is just as hungry for a win like that?
And just the preparation. It's not easy to win in this league. It's not a lot of games where you're going to get a lot of blowouts. So you just got to know that come from experience. All week, man, Vrabel was telling us we was going to be in a fight, and that's exactly what it was. And we came out on a win.
What was it like to be in a game like this, though, where it's just so crazy back and forth? I mean, is it fun for you guys? And what can this game do for a young team looking for an identity like you guys right now?
Just to see what type of teammates you got, man. A lot of people can either fold or you can rise to the top, and man, you can fight like he preached all week, and that's exactly what we did, man. Everybody was tired, but we put it to the side, and we fought to the end, and that's exactly what you need throughout the season.
Antonio, offensively, you guys obviously got off to a tremendous start, but what was the biggest difference in the amount of production you guys were able to generate today as opposed to the opener?
Just moving on to the next play, man. Today wasn't perfect at all, but when guys' names were called, we made a play. Shout out to Rhamondre. I feel like that catch right there was probably like a big momentum changer in the game. He got us going. We just kept rolling from there, man. And I feel like that's all it takes. Ray talked about that too. It just takes one play, and I feel like he made that for us. And then they made a play, and then you got to respond in the game. And then I made one. So things like that, man. In the defense, even though they gave up some, they made a play. They stopped the drive, and they got us on the field.
Well, Antonio, thank you so much for checking in with us, and congrats on the win.
All right, thank you so much.
Congrats, Antonio. Yeah, I mean, I think he's with us on the key play of the game.
He's with us.
He's with us.
Rhamondre.
He's one of us.
Rhamondre!
He's with us now.
No, it's good. I really like him. I think he's not a superstar, but like he gets out there and he delivers. Had a couple big runs, delivers on special teams. Didn't play much last week, but is still ready to go. And that's, I think, a sign of a good team having a stable of backs that guy might be down one week, but he's back up the next week, delivering plays, helping the team win.
Here's my quirky stat of the day. The Patriots had 2 receivers today make 1 catch that both went for touchdowns.
One quirky stat.
The bizarreness of this game. I can't quite wrap my head around it entirely.
I think you have to process it overnight.
Like, you're just going back and forth, and we're also prisoners of like what's happened in recent years. So you're kind of
you don't expect the best.
I'm sure like back in the day when Paul was sitting here in the mid 2000s, he's like, when are we gonna win? Like and now I'm kind of like, all right, where's the interception coming? But this team played it different.
Yeah,
today.
I just felt like, I don't know why I felt a little different during the course of this game. Now, I certainly changed as the game went on, but I felt very good about the game itself, the way the Patriots offense was playing. I didn't think Miami had any answers defensively at all. And then, credit Miami. They, everybody said if they fall behind, they'll tuck tail and run, and they didn't.
Yeah.
They got up off the mat. They took the lead, and I think we're really on the verge of taking control of the game. And then hats off to Drake Maye and Rhamondre Stevenson for changing that tide. And then Antonio Gibson, who we just spoke to about it, turns in the play of the game with the kick return.
I liked how Mike McDaniel pointed that out too. It seemed like he was like, and I just like to remind everyone that we didn't give up. They're still fighting for me. Curious what the fallout will be like in Miami this week, though, because that offense obviously looked way better than they looked last week against the Colts,
but not good enough.
And mistake-filled game, weird game. Are you still feeling like we got to blow it all up, or do they still start to feel like, well, maybe it's kind of there?
Yeah,
still,
because they're probably going to get waxed on Thursday night and be 0-3, and then it'll be. See how they respond with Buffalo.
Oh.
They have the fans booing in the stands today. The fans that paid for the banner overhead. Like, the fans are already fed up. So, to your point,
he's not going to be the coach next year.
Oh,
it's just a matter of whether or not he's going to make it through this year.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Steve is in Miami one more time. Stop partying, Steve.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Okay. First of all, great show. Second of all, even better show with a victory. I'm happy that somebody brought up the bad with Robert Spillane. 2 straight plays in the fourth quarter. He missed tackles. He bumped the guy instead of tackling him. But I also want to ask you what you think will happen with Borregales. I know that they're going to give him a chance and all that. But, yes, he made the 53-footer, yarder, I should say. But he could have easily been the reason why the Patriots lost today. So do they... I think Romo is just on a practice squad. Do they bring him back just to sign him as a possibility, or what do you think is going to happen with the kicking game? And I hope he does well, because my urologist is a relative for Borregales down here. So I don't want him to get upset at me next time I visit him.
Thanks, Steve. Great question.
I do think Romo got elevated by the Falcons. So if he does well today, I don't know. I said at the end of camp that I would have held on to him just as some insurance. And like I said, I don't think it's out of the question that maybe they have a kicker or two in tomorrow for tryouts. Maybe they sign one to the practice squad just to give him a little bit of competition to remind him that this is the NFL and that you're only a couple kicks away from your last kick with a team, especially when you are missing key points and things like on the extra points. So I don't think it's anything drastic. I don't think they're going to cut Borregales or anything like that. But I would not be surprised maybe to see a little bit of competition this week and give another kicker for the coaches to take a look at and compare some of these kicks to.
The real question is, are you going to try out?
I can't kick. I have really tight hamstrings. I will not be kicking anything.
All right, no deuce kicking. All right, Christian is back in LA. Hi, Christian.
Hey, you guys. What a victory. I think it's been, 8 years since we won? So let's count this, or let me ask you guys, does this count as us getting the monkey off our back? Getting this victory, does it have to be a certain kind of victory, or is it any victory down there means the monkey's off our back?
No, they won.
Win is a win.
Yeah, I mean,
a win's a win.
That's a win.
I know that heel turn thing that he's trying for, but what are we doing? They won in Miami.
We're happy.
They did. But I think
it's the first time they won since 2019 in Miami.
Right.
What are they going to say? No asterisk? It's not really a win? Of course it's a win.
Right.
No, it's great for this season. I think this will continue to be a difficult place to play, and you'll continue to have major challenges every time you go down there. But for the 2025 season, you pulled off a win in Miami, and that's great for Drake Maye, great for Mike Vrabel, and we'll see how they build off of it.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to sit here and tell you that
they'll never lose again.
No, I would love to tell you that that was a near perfect performance today by the Patriots in all aspects of the game, and they went down to Miami and they beat a really good Miami team. I don't think any of those things are true, other than the fact that they won the game.
Yep.
And that's the only thing that matters. They're 1-1 instead of 0-2. You're playing a game next week against Pittsburgh. We get to the second half of the show before we start looking ahead, but Pittsburgh looked thoroughly average in a bad loss at home today to a good, not great Seattle team. But I made a comment, I think, in the pregame that Aaron Rodgers had 4 touchdowns last week against the Jets, but I don't think he played all that well when I went back and watched some of the replays of stuff, and he struggled today. So that's a game that I think a lot of people said, well, that's a loss. I don't think it's a loss. I think these are all toss-up games. And what do I always tell you, Mike? When you have 8, 10, 12 toss-up games, you're going to win half of them.
50-50.
That's real, yeah.
If you're okay, I mean, if you're a really good team, you win, you have 12 toss-up games and you're a really good team, you're going 11-1 in those games. Yeah. But if you're just sort of one of the teams, you want to go 6-6.
Yeah.
Right now they're 1-1 in toss-up games.
Yeah.
50-50.
Yeah,
the way it goes.
It echoes just some of the thoughts because kind of gravitate towards the defensive side of the ball. I've been disappointed these first couple of weeks. I thought Chase Young had a really good camp. I think he's been, he's had some plays, but mostly been invisible. Spillane had 150 tackles in each of the last 2 seasons in Vegas. Haven't really seen that, So I'm a little disappointed overall. I feel like they would have been better on defense, and I think, when you look at all the rankings and all that kind of stuff, that they're going to be near the bottom of the league with a lot of this stuff because they haven't been able to get stops. They've been giving up big plays.
I mean, Miami only had the ball for 26 minutes today, and they had 358 yards of offense.
Yeah. So it's, I think some of the players are making plays at times. Milton Williams makes a play at a time. Christian Barmore makes a play at a time. But
that might be the best. That might be what you can have to hope for. Yeah. Can you come up with a play when you have to? Can you figure out a way to get a stop? You mentioned Williams on the last 4th down. The previous 3rd down, it was Landry to set up the 4th down where Tua just has to throw it up for grabs and Mapu picks it off. So not great defense, but when they had to have a play, the Patriots had a 4th and 3 early in the game. Miami couldn't stop anything all day. They weren't able to make a play on 4th and 3.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what you're hoping for. I know a lot of people thought this defense was going to be leading to 17-13 wins. I never saw that kind of a defense.
Yeah.
But again, I want to hold out final judgment until I see what it looks like when Gonzalez is playing.
For sure. And I mean, again, that's my hope. Like, what is it? How much of a difference does he make? Does his presence help boost things? Does the trickle-down effect help things in matchups? But I'd say on the flip side of that coin, second straight game where I didn't feel like pass protection was an absolute disaster. They got some pressure at times. They got some sacks, but
you know what I think the difference is
there's
there?
A pocket, and
I think Drake Maye is the difference there. I think just the little bit of experience that he has like that play that we keep harping on because it was such a big play. Immediate pressure. No one stopped him.
Yeah.
But he's there and he recognizes it. I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were saying that he seemed to be reacting to the pressure. I didn't see that last week as much as people were making out to be. I think he does a nice job of sort of navigating the pocket.
And I'd wonder, too, with the McDaniels offense where it's kind of on the quarterback to set protections and do those things, if maybe he has a growing comfort in understanding those concepts a little bit better, putting himself in position to be successful and, just being more in control than whereas last year when the center's calling out protections and all that, maybe he didn't quite understand it. I'm just speculating right now, but, just to me, I thought it's, especially considering, 2 rookies, we've had some issues at center. Bad snap. I mean, that probably could have made the list too.
Oh yeah.
But
yes.
But overall, I think the pass protection and just the overall functionality of the offense has been a little bit better than I might have expected, and the defense has maybe been a little bit worse, which is just surprising because Mike Vrabel, defense, you figure he's got his guys, he knows what he wants, he changed everything, he brought a lot of guys in, but I think the message from last week was they got a ways to go on defense, personnel-wise, and I think that was, again, the case here today.
That being said, how do the Pats adjust their defense accordingly
that's what's going to keep me up tonight.
I know. Well, please write us. Write some more for us.
No, and look, Paul and I joke a lot because we just, it's offense that matters and scoring points and if you can move the ball and score points and you feel good about your offense, I'll kind of take what comes on defense. And, like today was a good example of it wasn't great, but when you needed a couple plays in crunch time, those guys made the plays, so you can live with that. But, I don't know what the answer is. It's really quite interesting to kind of follow because it's a different kind of defense
It's week to week, too.
Than we've really followed before. And, those old defenses under Bill Belichick and Gerard Mayo were always like game plan defenses, and we're going to switch it up. And so on one hand, you never really knew what to expect week to week. And maybe that was good, maybe it was bad, but you at least knew that they were going to change it up. Whereas with this defense, it feels like they are what they are, and they definitely do some different things, but it just hasn't quite been consistent enough. And, giving up the big plays, especially in key moments, they got to nip that stuff in the bud.
Well, and I would have thought today, you can't get much more support from your offense than they got in the first half today.
Yeah.
And they were still powerless.
Yeah.
They opened the game with a 3-and-out, and then the next 2 drives were as easy touchdown drives as you're going to get that they came up with. So I think if you have a reasonably competent quarterback, this team's going to have a hard time stopping you. I just don't see I don't see a lot of playmakers.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way to put it. They're just and that was what was going on. Even the broadcasters were saying it during the game where New England just needs somebody to make a play, and that kind of goes into Christian Gonzalez. He's the kind of player that makes plays. And, going forward, that's what you got to look at on the defensive side of the ball. You're going to have to put players on there who can make plays.
Figure out that identity. All right, Alex is in Greece. Hello, Alex. What time is it in Greece?
Okay.
You can ask him.
What time is it in Greece, Alex?
It's close. It's close to Greece. Close to midnight, actually.
You're a real one. Respect.
Yeah, for sure. No, I've gotten used to it. It's definitely late games.
Absolutely.
So my question is, so you guys just talked about Maye right before I called, so you kind of answered a lot of my questions and how he played. But are you guys still a bit let down that he kind of missed that last pass? I know it's just one moment. It's not like defining the whole game, but
not at all. He was covered like a blanket. I didn't want him trying to force that in. There was good coverage on that last pass.
Do you think that maybe? Do you think it's a throw that he should have made, though, even though it was?
I would have liked to have seen him take the sack to keep the clock running. That's the only decision I would question. But no, trying to jam that in there is running a risk of a pick. Jack Jones was underneath Matt Collins.
I was going to say, it's like he floated it in there. I didn't say he jammed it. It was like when I saw the velocity he threw that ball with, I'm like, that's a pick.
I didn't want to see him try to jam that in there. No.
Yeah.
So, did you guys like the play call then?
I like the play call, but if it's not there, you have to take the sack. Keep the clock running.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you run that play to me is designed. We know they're selling out for the run. We're going to go play action here, and it's going to fool them. And we're going to slip a tight end, or in this case, it's Matt Collins, who's kind of like a tight end, out into the flat. No one's going to be covering him, and we're going to have an easy pitch and catch. It ain't there. They didn't fall for it. Jack Jones was on him. So I want to either say, Drake, try to make a play with your legs, or just slide down. Just slide down and take the sack.
So my last question is, in that case, do you think maybe they should have done like play action where they ran Maye to the side or something? I was hoping that maybe they do some deception. But
Can we get the play up, maybe, Chris? If we could get that last that play in the last drive up again. Maybe I'm forgetting the play.
Thanks for taking my call.
I think it's
Thanks,
I think it's
Thanks,
a second
Alex.
down incompletion.
The second down incompletion on the last possession for the Patriots. Unless I'm
No, that should be it, I think.
okay, because then. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to remember now.
I could have done with maybe a couple more Maye designed runs, perhaps, in some of those situations.
Yeah, they didn't have any design runs today for him.
Also say maybe
that would have been a call.
Oh, here you go.
That would have been a call. I missed it.
Yeah.
See, if he's jamming that in there, that runs the risk.
Yeah.
See, that's a play action.
And it's just
that is a play action play.
It's a wobbler.
But it's not a good throw. But I wondered if he's looking and he sees Jack Jones, he's like, oh God, we got to throw this away. Yeah. I don't hate the call. I like throwing for that first down. I don't like saying we're going to run it 3 times and punt and play it on defense. I don't like that. But it wasn't there. So I think there needs to be something better for Maye to do other than, throw an incomplete pass. That hurts. The incomplete pass there hurts.
No, and I think your comment on taking the sack there, it's not quite graduate level quarterbacking, but I think that's an experience kind of thing where if it's not there, take
Just
the
let it
sack,
go,
or like remember Brady on the sidelines, like if it's not there, take a delay game. Like those are the kind of things you don't really necessarily always think through. So
yeah, I was trying to remember because I knew that was second down. I was trying to remember what happened on third down. He threw a pass short of the sticks to Diggs on third down. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly worth a second guess. I knew what Alex is saying. If you're going to do that, I just don't think the play was there. I think Jack Jones was not fooled on the play.
Matt Collins thought he held.
Oh, maybe. Okay. So maybe that's why he wasn't fooled. Maybe he was fooled and he reached out and held and he got away with it.
So Matt Collins came up with I didn't see it on the replay, but that's what he said.
Yeah. So maybe that's why Jack Jones was in such good position. Maybe he cheated like they did in every other play in that game. Both teams, by the way.
Right.
I mean, 22 penalties accepted.
My Lord.
That doesn't even count the ones that were declined.
Exactly.
That was a long game.
All right, let's take it to CJ in Kansas City. Or KC, wherever. That's Kansas City.
Probably Kansas City.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. So my thoughts are, all of the talk before the season began was talking up the defense quite a lot and saying, like, could there be a top 15, top 10? And I know that when Christian Gonzalez comes back, it's going to be better. But do you guys actually see maybe since, we saw the offense actually putting some points together today too, do you think that perhaps the offense could actually rank ahead of the defense by the end of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. Given how they've started off, yeah, and that's what it's exactly what I said coming in. I was surprised that's kind of.
I don't
that way.
see that, but not because I think
size.
I just don't believe in this offense yet.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, we'll see. Maybe they have more days like today in them, but I'm skeptical. I think this was a good day for the offense, a really good day for the offense. I don't see this happening consistently.
I guess where I live is that defense has a lot of veterans, and I don't know if we're going to suddenly see something new out of them, whereas there's still some element unknown to me to the offense with Maye.
I didn't say I was expecting anything about the defense. I said I think this was an outlier for the offense.
But he asked, could the offense be
better?
Defense?
And I don't think so.
Could it be that it's one's 20 No, I joke.
Thanks, CJ.
Thanks.
All right, John is in South Beach. Are you actually on South Beach?
It's Johnny South Beach.
Johnny South Beach.
It's a character on the show.
Oh, nice to meet you, Johnny.
Howdy, lovely to meet you as well. Excellent work on the pre and post game show so far.
Thank you.
I just have to say my heart is broken because this is the first Patriots visit to Miami since 2022 that I haven't been in the stadium, and I miss a victory that was probably really fun to be a part of in the crowd. Anyway, two things that I'll just point out. I thought Drake Maye showed a lot of promising play today. Like
agreed.
That throw to Rhamondre, that throw to Kayshon Boutte. I just continue to be proven wrong about Kayshon Boutte. Even at the beginning of this year, I was like, all hype, whatever. But looks fantastic. The only negative, in my opinion, the media pumped Robert Spillane's tires a lot in this offseason, and he just hasn't looked very good to me. But, maybe I don't know what I'm looking at and I don't know what I'm talking about, but would like to hear you guys talk a little bit more about that too.
Yeah, it breaks my heart to say. I love the guy's personality. I love the intensity that he brings to the team. I like the leadership, the tone that he sets in the locker room.
I don't think he's been great, though.
He just hasn't been productive. He hasn't, and you've seen him missing a lot of tackles. And I said it in the pregame show. I was curious. Last week, I think Mike Reese, speculated. Spillane, big film study guy, didn't know what to really key off of on that Raiders offense. Maybe it would be better this week against McDaniel's offense that he's seen before, and it wasn't any better. And him and Ellis, those are the guys that need to make the plays. So it's in coverage, too. I think that's an area where you thought, how many Patriot fans are like, we got to draft a linebacker with speed. We get these slow guys anymore. And you have that speed right now, but I think you're seeing that there needs to be some instincts, too. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Maybe it'll start to translate, but, going back to the other point, he's been in this defense before. So, what are we waiting for? I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But I think that's a fair criticism. I think that those guys have to be better. And if they do, maybe that's a big part of, kind of turning this defense's poor start around. But again, they live to fight another day, made some plays down the stretch. So we'll see how it unfolds from here with him. But I agree with the point.
We're getting calls, we're getting emails. I'm like, where do I go? Let me look at some emails because put the calls on hold for a second. We have a headline, ugly win from Brendan in Connecticut. Is it just me, or was this one of the ugliest wins in recent memory? The defense is extremely concerning. Limited pressure, bad linebacker coverage, soft coverage, sloppy tackling, and bad penalties. The offense, I think, looked much better than last week, of course, and show improvement. While the defense, as we all agree, is not good. So
I don't know. I watched that game up in Buffalo a couple years ago, and that was about the bottom of the barrel for ugly wins. So I'll put scoring over 30 points a little bit higher than that. No question, there were a lot of mistakes in this game, and certainly on the defensive side of the ball, there were a lot of things to fix. But anytime you're able to score some points like that, to put up points on special teams, I'm not going to really look at a victory in Miami in the mouth, so to speak.
Yeah, it was a sloppy game and all that stuff, but one of the sloppiest wins in recent memory. And it was one of the wins in recent memory. What do we do
when you put it that way?
No, I love it. No one is snarkier than I am, right? I'll look the other way on virtually anything. Well, you can't kind of I don't care today. Yeah. I'm not going to worry today about how it all looked. They needed to find a way to win a game. Mm-hmm. They got help from the other team. There's no question. But you're losing a game in the fourth quarter, and your special teams found a way to make a play for you, and you won the game. And then you found a way to close it out, even though the other team gave you immense help in closing it out. You closed it out. You made the plays on third and fourth down to make sure that Miami didn't score to take the lead. So I don't really know, if you're a Patriots fan right now coming off of back-to-back 4-win seasons, mm-hmm. why you would be at all upset about this win, unless you're just still thinking that this team can win 10 or 12 games and go to the AFC Championship. If you think like that, then I'd be by all means be upset, because this isn't going to be good enough to do that.
Just what did you say? Don't have expectations?
Yeah, they got to find a way to win some games and get something going.
Right.
And today they did that.
That's the whole thing for me. Get something going. And talk this week about Drake Maye and what does he need to do? Is he the guy? And do we need to be patient? And these are the kind of wins, mistakes and all, and maybe even in some regards because of the mistakes, because of the things you can highlight to him and say, should have taken the sack here, or not the best throw here, or those kind of things. These are the wins that can start to build some momentum for Drake Maye and start to have him believe in himself and the team believe in him. Exactly. And that's the thing. You're never going to have a perfect victory regardless. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there are some, Buffalo victories currently going on, or, that were like, wow, that was, amazing. And we didn't get stopped once. But, for a team trying to dig themselves out of the 4-win basement, this is a really good step for this franchise today.
And great learning opportunities, like you said. All right. Well, we have Spee in Fresno. He sent in an email to podcast@patriots.com. He said, can we please put Bossman Kirsch on the good list, as his feel for the league led him to correctly guaranteeing a win today. #self-squishing fish.
That's right. I forgot Freddie guaranteed the win.
He did guarantee the win.
Forgot about that.
Get some
remember what
points
his
to the
score
boss
was.
man.
I
don't remember the
guaranteed pretty
score.
much everything, so
That's true.
I'm taking my victory lap. too.
Positive Paul.
I mean, I never has a prediction of I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen in this
Been
game
so
been more true.
accurate. You should go
I know,
play
that-
Powerball or something
And that's it.
later.
I didn't know what was going on during the game when it was unfolding in front of me. I still have no idea what is going on in this game. Like how it's just one of those ones where they're scoring, we're scoring back and forth, and there's there's just the little mistakes at the end or what's going to decide it. And today the Patriots were the team that made a couple extra plays and a couple less mistakes, and that's why they won.
I agree.
It was fun
that was the
watching you two
difference.
try to predict because none of the predictions
No, I
came true.
thought the game was pretty close to being over in the first quarter. I thought Miami
Yeah.
had done what we had
Yep.
all talked about all week, and then all of a sudden they decided, well, let's see if we could get a drive together. They got a drive together, and they were like, okay,
Yeah.
they're the same old
Let's be
Patriots.
here.
We can move the ball at will against them, and they did.
Well, what
And
was
all of a
haunt-
sudden it was game on.
what was haunting me, Paul, was we talked about how the game might unfold, and I think I said something to the effect of, if like Maye leads them on a drive or they go up late, and
I
then,
was thinking
and then
that the whole
Miami
time.
and then I'm like, so I'm looking at 34-33 and being like, oh, here it
I
comes.
was
They're
thinking
gonna
I would
lose
feel
by one, but Maye's gonna.
like obviously you feel a lot better with winning, but let's just say Achane stays in bounds and Miami ends up winning the game. I think I would come away saying, hey, yeah, they lost and it sucks and we're going to be pissed off for a while, but you had an offense at least that showed up this week as opposed to last week. Your quarterback was sharp today as opposed to last week. Now it would be small consolation, No, thankfully, Achane stepped out of bounds, and the Patriots were able to hold on.
I think that my anger at the defense, had he stayed in bounds, would have been like the fury of like a white hot sun. It's still, I'm still pretty disappointed. But if
the
they gave
defense
up
is
that
the
big
same.
one- yeah, I know.
The defense is the same. It's not like they pushed him out of bounds.
I know,
That's
but
true. That's a good point,
perception
actually.
is everything. No, that's that's what it is. But no.
I think Sean in Ireland, he emailed as well. He kind of summed it up perfectly. Hopefully this can be used as a base to move forward, like positive Perillo here. Drake Maye didn't sky his first few passes.
Yeah.
Looked confident throughout. We scored more than 30 points and took advantage of bad football. Yep. It would be good to see if this team can grow from this result, unlike last year at Cincinnati, where everything stagnated from there on. Thank you, Sean in Ireland, for that.
I like it.
All right, let's get back out to the phone lines. 1-855-PATS-500. We have Walter in Tejas. That's my Spanish.
I like that.
Thank you.
Muy bien.
Biblioteca.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Good one. Of course. Hi,
Hey,
Walter.
I just had a quick question. I maybe you guys talked about it earlier, but the kicking game was a little shaky from last week and the beginning of this week, and also the penalties. Seems like we were at one point where we're playing against ourselves and the other team. It looks like we kind of gave them a lot. I also feel like they gave us a lot as well. Do we think there's going to be a lot of sloppy games throughout the season? I know it's what we've had the last two. Do you think this is something this coaching staff's going to address quickly, or is it something that we can probably look forward to looking and seeing?
I hope not, but
You have to hope that they
Thanks,
can,
Walter.
at least clean up some of the penalties, and but
I
that's
mean,
been a
you
problem.
nail it.
for
I
us.
mean, it was a slop fest, no
was.
question. A lot of
It was.
mistakes on both
Slop
sides.
fest.
It was. It's hard to imagine it can stay that sloppy all year with 9-10 penalties every game.
Fingers crossed, knock on wood. Don't jinx it.
But I think that's again like last week coming out of that game. We said for the offense, just kind of establish the run, stay balanced, get a little bit of run game going. Maybe that'll help the offense. And then I felt like that was part of the plan today. All sides of the ball. I think let's stop shooting ourselves in the foot. Penalties are going to happen to some extent, but
sure.
at the same time, there's a line that they get excessive, and they've been excessive the first 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right, let's take it out to Donnie in Phoenix. Donnie, how's it going?
What's going on?
Hey, Donnie.
How we doing today?
We're good.
I'm all right. How are you?
Dude, bro, cannot feel better. We finally, first and foremost, first-time listener, long-time caller. I am so pumped for today, man. We finally got a win over Miami, in Miami, no turnovers. Drake is the second coming of Tom Brady. I'm crowning him right now. Rhamondre Stevenson back to his 2021-2022 form. We are back. We are ready for the Steelers next week. We are so ready. I'm on my way to get Dunkin' Donuts to get fueled up for next week. We are so back. 10-7 is still on the board. Let's go take it off here. Love you guys.
All right, Donnie. He has the enthusiasm.
I mean, 16-1's still on the board.
16-1's on the board.
Sure, actually.
Well, where the 7 come?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. So
no, hey,
yeah.
Patriots fans, they had a rough go of it, so they're happy right now.
So Eli wait, is his name Eli or L? Oh, L. Sorry, L.
Fred yelled
in
at L this
Wisconsin.
week.
He did. Fred got mad. Fred got mad at L.
Why? What did he do?
I forget
what did
exactly
you do?
what the issue was.
Well,
he went direct to camera. Fred went, when Fred goes direct to
Oh,
camera,
he
he
just
means
did the
business.
eye
He's like,
contact
where's
thing?
my one?
No, I'd be scared too.
Step back.
Well, he's saying that this defense reminds him of the 2012 team. Defense was awful, and then Brady had to score almost every drive to win games. This plays perfectly off of the call we just get since he's the coming of Tom Brady. But he says in the email, since he's Brady, he did. We can't ask that of Maye. The defense needs to be better, period. Yes, absolutely.
I would say it reminds me, and this actually will be stupid for if you statistically look at it, but the 2009 defense, I think statistically they were okay, but I think they were flawed. You had guys like Derek Burgess rushing off the edge. It was just, they needed an infusion of some fresh talent, which they, ended up getting a couple years later. Next year they added McCourty and, they found Ninkovich, and then they drafted Chandler Jones and they got Dante Hightower and et cetera, et cetera. But, it felt like that defense was kind of in between. The old dynasty defense when all those guys retired and you were, kind of treading water with some guys. Jarvis Green, goes, like, it's just, not to get into too much detail. But I do think statistically that was a good defense. But, you saw in the playoffs they got in and they had no answers for the Baltimore Ravens. So I hope it's better than that, especially down the end. But, it seems like it's a work in progress. And whereas on the offensive side of the ball, I think you've got a few pieces. On the defensive side of the ball, without Gonzalez right now, you're missing some stuff.
All right, we have another email. Good day, post-game showboats. A win against the Dolphins in Miami, but it's not so much woohoo as it is a woo, like a sigh of relief. Tried to verbalize that. Patriots did their best to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. There were two teams doing their best to lose this game, and ultimately the Patriots did a worse job of losing it than Miami. Cheers from Dan in Virginia, in Michigan. Hope you're having a good trip, Dan.
He's right.
He's very right.
The teams kept taking turns trying to hand the game to the other.
They were too polite. That's what it was.
And ultimately,
you're going to blow a special teams coverage? We can do that.
I'll do the same
Miami
thing.
gave the last one up, and they ended up costing them the game. But again, I just don't. There's going to be plenty of time to dwell on that kind of stuff. I don't. Just right now, I think the Patriots needed to find a way to win the game, and I kind of saw this coming, like the whole, Miami's a mess, and that it wasn't so much about what the Patriots did as it was what Miami did. And I'm not arguing with you that Miami's a mess, but it's just not really high on my priority list right now, because to me this is more about what the Patriots offense did. They took some strides forward. I'm not going to get lost in the 30 points. It was really like 24. The last touchdown, was obviously special teams. And then the field goal that they got was because Miami had to go for it on the fourth down and gave them a field goal. But why are we nitpicking? Why are we going to go through this? I can do that. And believe me, I can go through detail-oriented and with a fine-tooth comb and tell you all the reasons why. Leave that to Felger and Maz. Tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't feel happy about this win today. I just don't think it's the time. This is a team that's won 8 games the last 2 years. They found a way in the fourth quarter to make a play on special teams to steal a game. And it's a game they had every right to win. It's not like a game they had no business winning. For large stretches of the first half, they were dominant, even though they were only up by a point. So I give them a lot of credit. I do. I give the Patriots a lot of credit for sticking with it today. I know Vrabel said we were willing to get into a street fight, and we didn't quit. And I think that sums it up perfectly.
It does. And I think I've learned from those last 2 4-win seasons was like each season, every time they lose, no matter what it looked like, it just gets worse. Like everybody, it's just the attitudes, and you could just feel the negative energy continue to build with each loss. No matter if they lost a heartbreaker in the last second and kind of played well, or they got blown off the field. And it's the same thing on this side of the ball, where you have a young team, you have a new head coach trying to get guys to buy into what he's selling. And so regardless of what the actual style of it all look like, at this point, you just need to get that W and check that box and earn some validation from what you're preaching. And, I think next week we'll get a Patriots team that maybe a little bit more locked in, a little bit more buy-in, and say, look, we won the game and we played like crap in these areas. So if we clean up some of this stuff, maybe we can start to get to not just be a team that looks to take advantage of bad football, which is, let's face it, that's what they did today. into a team that can.
That's another
can
good
win.
point.
Yeah.
They put themselves in position to take advantage of the bad football. The other team wants to commit a false start and back it up with a delay of game, not once but twice in the last 2 drives. Make sure you don't allow them to convert the 1st and 20. And they didn't. They took advantage of bad football. It's a good way to sum
And
it
I don't
up.
think this team would have been able to do that last year. Do you guys
We
think
wouldn't have done it last week.
Yeah, well, yes, absolutely. But definitely a turnaround when you think about it. What would you say, the two of you say, are some tangible takeaways for the Patriots to going into the Pittsburgh game? I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but
I would say I just need continued, progress from the offenses. And I think that's just something that happens naturally because you've got some experience. You've got another. I mean, how many offensive plays did they run today? I mean, Josh had to be at the bottom of his card by the end of the game. So, but I think that's a really good thing because you're getting a lot of tape of Drake Maye.
Not as many as you think.
No, really?
55, 52.
55. Okay, that's about average. So
yeah.
I guess they got off to a great start and then it tapered off.
They had it the whole first half.
Yeah.
But then the Dolphins were able to rebound from that. Yeah, I think Mike is right though. The balance that they showed, not just like running the ball and passing the ball. I'm just talking about sort of sequencing plays. And I thought the beginning of this game, every play they ran seemed to be not what Miami was expecting.
Yeah.
Like they were able to get guys open. They were able to run at the right times. They're going for it on 4th down. They get an easy pitch and catch with Stephon Diggs sitting in the soft zone in the middle. That, I think, is a tangible thing you can take forward. I'm 1,000% with Mike.
okay, I'm sorry. This next email confused me because I saw Zach Kerr from Michael in North Carolina. First, I thought Zach Kerr emailed us, which is not the case.
Jeez, I hope not. That'd be bad.
I'm curious to see how you two react to this. So, a win is a win, but let's tip our hats to the fill-in defensive coordinator, Zach Kerr. I thought him and his staff came up with a decent game plan. He deserves a lot of credit. Plus, the defensive line of the Patriots played really well, shutting down the run. Only 61 yards rushing. That's Michael in North Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, I just point to what Paul said. I thought they made some adjustments and shut down Achane, but, really, they didn't have a lot of answers for
They only
Tua.
ran the ball 15 times.
That continues to be a problem, and, we'll see next time we face
Yeah,
Tua.
I did not like the plan today.
No,
on
I know.
defense.
Yeah, I know you didn't. That's why
I don't
read
think
that.
they got after the passer much. I don't think they covered anybody. It's not like Tua was jamming it into small windows. I thought he had
jumping up in the air.
I mean, again, we said that Drake only threw 4 incompletions. Tua only threw 6. So yeah, I didn't like.
It's like Brady Manning.
I didn't like the defensive performance today. Really, I give him credit for coming up with just enough plays to find a way to win the game, but I didn't like the plan.
100% agree. All right.
I wanted to get after Tua and see if I could force some mistakes, and they really never did that.
Yeah,
that didn't happen.
Cosign.
All right, we're going back to the kicker competition that you just mentioned, Deuce, from Mike and the OC. So happy we got the win, especially with the next 2 games against quality playoff contending teams, which obviously will be the true test. I wanted to
Carolina?
Sorry.
Pittsburgh and Carolina, the next 2 games,
sorry.
right?
Oh, yeah, you're right, yeah. Well, I guess they're
It's a very soft spot of the schedule to open up
That's
here.
a good point, actually.
You open it up with 3 out of the first 4 at home, and all 4 of them really.
Carolina's like already underwater.
Yeah, and all 4 of them are very winnable.
Yeah, I shouldn't have read that blindly. I wanted to get the panel's thoughts on our rookie kicker. We know Borregales. We just talked about him.
Yeah.
Hit the big 50-yarders, but missed those 2 extra points last week. Also, not the great momentum. I thought John Parker Romo actually kicked better than Borregales in the preseason, like you said. Are you watching the show, sir? But that's Mike in the OC.
No, we get that a lot. I mean, I think it's an overall interesting debate because we talk about kickers all the time, and some people don't want to draft kickers, and sometimes you find a guy like Nick Folk who's like 40 years old and comes in and like can't miss, and or even a guy like Joey Sly last year who kicked around for a little while and did an okay job. He's got a big leg, and do you invest extra time in guys that get off to a slow start? I mean, you're seeing Chad Ryland it seems like he found a stride outside of New England, and I don't think it's that crazy to see kickers start to kick well other places. It's just because it doesn't work out like Steven Gostowski, who came in to replace one of the greatest kickers of all time and did it with no problem. I mean, did it for a decade plus. So it doesn't always happen that way. I'm caught in the world of you can't lose games because of this, but it also feels kind of rash to just discard a very good college kicker who, let's face it, if he continues to kick in the league and continues to get opportunities, there's probably a pretty good chance that he's going to find some consistency. But it's just a question of, are you willing to put up with misses? And
do you give him enough time to do that?
And are you able to? Because when you're missing extra points and it's taking points off the scoreboard, and had you lost today
that would have
by
been
1 or 2 points, that's what everybody's talking about even more than they're already going to be talking about it. So it's one of those things in the game of football that, like, there's just a lot of different examples that point in different directions. And, you invested a draft pick in this kid. So I feel like it would be okay to give him a chance. But at the same time, the clock is ticking and this team needs to win games, and they can't afford to keep having him miss kicks every game.
100% agree. All right, we're going to take a quick break. But before we do that, here on the Patriots pregame show, we are sponsored by the Massachusetts 250 campaign, commemorating a history of possibility. You can plan your revolutionary weekend at Massachusetts250.org. And also, based right here in New England, Brunt Workwear makes work boots and apparel that are built for the job site. Their gear is comfortable, durable, and named after the real workers in the trade that helped design it. You can even try Brunt out right on the job, and if it doesn't blow you away, they'll actually let you send it back. You can save $10 on your first order at bruntworkwear.com/Pats or with the coupon code PATS. We'll be right back here on the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings.
Without good blocking, your team's not going anywhere. Cisco blocks cyber attacks for customers around the world, including the entire Fortune 100 and the NFL. Because when the game is on the line, and it's always on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad. Hey, watch it. It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face. Game changer. While the Flex Disc contours to it, so the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke for the ultimate Gillette shaving experience. The best a man can get is Gillette Labs.
Without good blocking, your team's not going anywhere. Cisco blocks cyber attacks for customers around the world, including the entire Fortune 100 and the NFL. Because when the game is on the line, and it's always on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad. Hey, watch it. It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face. Game changer. While the Flex Disc contours to it, so the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke for the ultimate Gillette shaving experience. The best a man can get is Gillette Labs.
Without good blocking, your team's not going anywhere. Cisco blocks cyber attacks for customers around the world, including the entire Fortune 100 and the NFL. Because when the game is on the line, and it's always on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad. Hey, watch it. It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face. Game changer. While the Flex Disc contours to it, so the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke for the ultimate Gillette shaving experience. The best a man can get is Gillette Labs.
Without good blocking, your team's not going anywhere. Cisco blocks cyber attacks for customers around the world, including the entire Fortune 100 and the NFL. Because when the game is on the line, and it's always on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad. Hey, watch it. It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face. Game changer. While the Flex Disc contours to it, so the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke for the ultimate Gillette shaving experience. The best a man can get is Gillette Labs.
We want to hear from you, so call the hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at podcast@patriots.com. Now, back to the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings.
Welcome back into the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings. Paul Perillo, Kwani Lunis, Deuce, and the producer Maddie here with
Matty
some
Ice.
sound.
No Matty socks. Ice.
You have some,
No socks.
No socks. Still no socks.
Yeah, how's the mood in here today, boys and girls?
Can you tell we're very cheery?
Just a little bit brighter than last week.
Just a little bit.
I like it. And I would say this, that professional but upbeat was the mood post-game today. Loud as they were coming off the field, loud in the locker room, which, Paul, as you know, Deuce, have you been in that locker room, Miami? Like the locker room is right next door to the interview room?
No.
It was a little bit loud in going in, and I think there were smiles all around. Let's start by listening to the coach, Mike Vrabel.
I'm just excited for these guys. I'm really excited that they could, fight and compete, come on the road, be in a game, get off to a good start, not be front runners, everything that we talked about. We tried to get the drive stop sometimes. We ended this drives with scores, with touchdowns. We were much better in the red zone. Offensively, the only thing that stopped us today was us. So there was a lot of really good keys there. Got to have a lot of confidence in them, and I do have a lot of confidence. I didn't waver. I was going to go for the 4th and 5 to try to, get it there. And then when we got backed up, I immediately just, kicked the field goal. And I'm happy for Andy. That's why he's here. And thought after the first two, really settled down, and that's what we'll have to have. Well, again, I appreciate the character. Certainly don't have to put it to the test all the time with mistakes and silly penalties or being offsides and having an interception. I mean, there's a lot of things out there that we have to do better. But we didn't pout. We didn't drop our head. We went on to the next play and we kept competing. And I appreciate that. We have to learn how to compete and believe that we can come down here and win football games, and I think they did. Again, that we're not front runners, and that's a big thing in this league because when you play in the National Football League, you have to be willing to take some punches, and that's okay. But you got to give more than you take because that's the nature of this business. Haven't been in a long time. There's pros on the other side. There's good players on the other side. There's good coaches. So just again, proud of our team. It would always be about the players now and forever.
If I go back to January when he was hired and he talked about there's going to be adversity that comes along at some point in time. How do you respond when adversity comes along? 12-0 lead that should have been more, and it was eaten away pretty quickly. I thought that was some decent adversity that they fought their way through, and I thought that's a good way to at least get their first win.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the adversity was like a roller coaster. It wasn't just one dose of it.
I didn't really understand the front running thing. That's exactly what they jumped. We know this is how they play. We got to get off to a good start. We got to get the lead, and we got to make them chase, and then we're going to be okay. Whereas the other thing, when they fall behind by 2 touchdowns,
look out.
We'll see. But I think Mike's point about the taking advantage of bad football, the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed all day. But when the other team went backwards, they didn't allow that to get out of that hole. They didn't allow Miami to get up off the mat. Those last 2 drives, they took advantage of those false starts and delayed games, and they came up with the plays to close it out. That's, to me, progress. That's taking advantage of bad football.
And that's a great mentality to have if you're going to move forward in this league. You might not be the best team on paper, but if you can snap back with that, it'll help.
And there's a lot of bad teams out there.
There are.
And like Mike just said, the only thing that stopped us today was ourselves. I wholeheartedly agree 100%. With that.
Yeah.
Same for Miami.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
And you were able to make fewer mistakes than Miami did, and that was the difference in the game. And there's no style points when you're 8 wins in 2 years and you're on the road in a place that you haven't won in 5 years. You have to find a way to get a win, and you're not going to sit there and say, "Well, that doesn't really count." Christian in L.A. Do we really get the monkey off of it? Yes,
it does. Yeah.
Yes, you no longer have a 0 in the column. In the win column against Tua. Right. Now you have a 1.
Yeah.
So that's not a thing anymore. Even though Tua lit you up, that's not a thing anymore. Right. You beat him. So now you know you can beat him.
6 years, but who's counting? All right, that was Mike Vrabel. Now let's listen to the players and their reaction to the win, and we start with Drake Maye.
That feels good. That feels good. It took everybody. I think that's the biggest thing. It took everybody.
5 in a row.
Special teams, offense, defense, trainers, everybody helps us out. That one felt good, and I'm just proud of our guys for just sticking with it. So many ups and flows of the game, ebbs and flows, and just proud of the guys. That one feels good.
From your perspective, coming off the week you had, how proud are you individually of this performance today?
Oh, shoot, I'm proud of this team. These guys around me. My job is to try to get them the football and lead scoring drives and, defense and, they play their butts off. So just proud of the guys around me and, great team win.
Players look up at the scoreboard, they can see somebody's about to catch him. Vrabel's running down the sideline. Are you just...
I caught myself trying to look back at the defender. I was like, man, you tripping, just run. And, after that, I had my eyes on the end zone, and that was that.
Did you see Coach Vrabel out of that?
Yeah. If he was keeping up with me, I need to run fast. I heard he almost caught me though.
We made a call to run a game, and shoot, I just got off the ball and we executed when it needed to be executed. Back end held up, made them hold the ball, and shoot, that's all I'm asking for. We make them one time, and shoot, I'm trying my best to get back there and fix the game.
It was a dogfight. We went in knowing what it was going to be. So, us just being relentless, playing 4 quarters, and coming out with the dub is huge for us.
I love that Gibbs was so in the zone he didn't see Vrabel running beside him.
That's funny.
Any concerns that Vrabes would pop a hammy or anything like that he was going?
I thought he was going to run Gibson down. I was wondering if Gibson was going to make it.
With him.
I've seen Vrabel get in fights. I've seen him running sprints. He's in the middle of scrums. I'm praying for his health every time. But I'm getting used to it because he's clearly always in the mix. So.
And it wasn't Steve Burton that was chasing him or running
No,
up and down, right? It was Vrabel.
True.
Just checking on that. And one last thing, just a little big market tease for Patriot fans out there.
Big market tease from No Socks.
Big market tease for Patriot fans out there. When the locker room celebration is posted on Patriots.com and all the Patriots social channels, make sure you take a look at it. I think you'll be highly entertained.
That's a big market tease for sure.
I'm teased.
I'm going to just keep refreshing my Instagram right here.
Let's go, social. Get it up.
Now, No Socks, when should the fans expect that?
Well, there's an approval process, Paul. We got to get it approved.
So roughly when
I
does
know
that
that the
usually
video
get-
team is working tirelessly to get that approved.
Okay.
But I saw a little sneak peek of it. It might be an all-timer.
Could I ask a question? And you don't have to give it away, but have we resurrected the how do we feel? Oh, yeah, maybe? Or anything like that?
I think you're going to have to wait and see.
He really is keeping you on your toes with this one.
How do we feel about a No Socks teaser? Oh, yeah.
Man's fair. Man's fair.
No, Mike, Matt, in all seriousness, we had, for the most part, people the offense, huge step forward, a little disappointed in the defense. But bottom line is you find a way to win. And I think that's a building block for everybody.
Right.
And I think that's been sort of the message in the bulk of the show for the most part.
When the schedule came out in May and you looked at the first 2 games,
We said
1-1.
they're probably the 2 toss-ups. They could go either way.
Right. And that's kind of how the games.
Yeah. Now, I think that you have a lot of games like that.
Yeah.
The next 2 were toss-ups as well.
Right.
Yeah. I saw Aaron Rodgers' numbers, huh? Not too hot there.
No.
Rodgers, but great.
At home today, right, Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Taking
now
out.
he's got a good antidote next week.
Yeah, 18
based
for
on the first 2
33.
weeks.
203 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 58 quarterback.
Yeah, he didn't throw for that many yards last week. He threw for 4 touchdowns, and I think that's what caught all the highlights.
Paul was on that on the pregame show, talking about the fact that Aaron Rodgers'
I didn't think he played
numbers
that
were
great.
okay.
I didn't
but-
think he moved well in the pocket.
Right.
I didn't think he felt the pressure very well. We'll see. I'm not telling you that you can't come in here and
Oh,
throw
for
for
sure.
350 next week because everybody else is doing it.
But like we also said, the numbers may have been skewed a little higher. Playing against your former team,
Maybe.
adds a little fire to the game.
We'll see how much juice he's got left, but I mean, I got to think, it's just hard for a team like Pittsburgh, and what's the hope that they somehow gut out 7 or 8 wins and pick 16th overall and don't get any quarterback again this year? It's like, sometimes you just have to stink in a good quarterback year to really make it out of the basement, but we'll see.
One of the takeaways I wanted to ask you guys about was the conviction in postgame by Coach Vrabel towards his field goal kicker and sticking with them and deciding to go with that kick to give them the lead. Thoughts on the decision?
I thought it was a little ballsy. I mean, I know we were in here being like, you can't ask him to kick this one. I mean, it was a far kick. I didn't really have confidence. I think when they were setting it up, I'm like, there's no way.
53 yards.
I think there's less pressure on those than, when you quote unquote not supposed to make it.
Yeah, like an extra point.
That's true.
Like you see all these 50-plus yarders. I didn't like the decision to go for the field goal, not because I didn't think he was going to make it. I just didn't. I like to weigh the pluses and minuses. If he makes it, the game situation really hasn't changed dramatically. I still lose if the other team scores. Now, I understand the difference between 3 and 6, so I don't need a math lesson from the nerds, okay? I understand that it's harder to score a touchdown.
Paul, that's 6 points.
Ultimately, the way the game unfolded, Miami kicks a field goal to tie the game had he missed the field goal. So I'm not the fact that he made it, it's not lost on me. I don't need an analytics lesson. I don't think it dramatically increased your chances of winning the game if he makes the field goal. I would have gone for it and tried to end the game right there, or I would have thought about punting and see if I could pin him inside the 10 and make Miami go 65 yards to kick a field goal, which I think is not easy. As it was, it really backfires when the kicker then follows up his big make by not making the landing zone and giving the ball at the 40-yard line. It took Miami all of 3 plays to get to the end zone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, only because Achane stepped out of bounds, you end up winning the game. And again, not forced out of bounds, stepped out of bounds on his own.
Right. One of the things that Mike said after the game that didn't make it in our little montage there, but is a good point nonetheless, in my opinion, is he talked about he'll enjoy some of these teaching and coaching moments, as there were plenty of them during the game.
Absolutely.
It's a lot better to do that with a win under your belt as opposed to when you're losing the game.
And that was the point that I think Mike and I, sorry, Kwame.
No.
That was the point that Mike and I were trying to make. And it wasn't a lot. There was like 1 or 2 calls that were like sort of really nitpicky. And you know me, Matt, I'm here for the nitpicking all day, twice on Sunday. Today ain't the day for that.
No.
Today's the day to say, for once, you went down to your house of horrors and the weird play went your way. You responded to the punt return with a kick return, and then the other team stepped out of bounds. And you found a way to win. That's the bottom line.
Yep.
And I don't know how you cannot feel good about that if you're a Patriot
I'd agree
fan
with you.
today. Now, there are a million things that you're going to look back on this week, and you're going to say, we got to do this better, that better. We can't get 12 penalties again next week. We can't snap a ball back, and expect Rhamondre Stevenson to break 4 tackles on a screen pass and convert that first down anyway. You can't do that. You can't do those things. But today, they were able to win the game. And that to me has got to be the bottom line.
And going back to your question, from a coaching perspective, I understand the conviction to want to keep Borregales in for the sake of the mental aspect of the game, right? You don't want to ice your own kicker moving forward. So I could understand it to your point about the coaching moments, the teachable moments of not wanting to pull him because now you've bruised his ego potentially, and now he won't perform in theory the way you would want him to.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, give him another chance. You just wish that the kickoff then hadn't, like
Agree,
if the kickoff had been
100%
good,
for the record.
then it would have been
agree.
like, okay, this is a solid end, and put those 2 missed extra points behind you. So, but I like, look, at this point with a young player, and again, it's just I don't know how to manage kickers. Like it's just it seems like one of the hardest things to do in the NFL, and at the end of the day, like sometimes it feels like you can just grab a guy off the scrap heap and he'll come in, and all of a sudden he's like an elite kicker.
Right.
I don't know how it works.
Interesting.
So like this is just like a little sequence of plays that, how Mike likes to say, is the good, the bad, and the stuff that gets you beat. This is the stuff that'll get you beat. So they're protecting a 23-20 lead in the fourth quarter. They get a penalty on Morgan Moses for a false start from their own 13, sets up 1st and 15. They get an 8-yard pass. Then they lose 6 yards when they try a little swing pass to Stevenson. He gets killed by Willie Gay. Right?
Telegraphed screen pass.
So you end up, it went down as a running play, but that was a pass. So now it's 3rd and 13 from your own 10, and Stevenson breaks several tackles. No, I'm sorry. This is, breaks several tackles and getting 14 yards on a screen pass. So you end up getting first down. Like, that's huge. You follow that up 2 plays later when Bradbury lets the ball out of his hand, and you go right back down around your 10-yard line, inside your 10-yard line, and it's 3rd and 26. And you end up just throwing like a short little pass, and you end up having to punt. What happened on the punt? Anybody remember what happened on that punt?
A touchdown.
Was that the return?
Guy returned it for a touchdown.
Right.
Like that's the crap that'll get you beat. That's what Mike is talking about.
Right.
Self-inflicted wounds, false start, aborted snap, screen pass for -6. That's the stuff that'll get you beat.
Yep.
And then you overcome some of that with a really good individual effort by Stevenson, and you give it right back. Like, again, during the course of the week when Mike is going over this stuff, it's going to feel a lot better for them to hear all these things that they did wrong
When there's
after
a
winning.
W in the column.
But
right?
that's the stuff that you got to avoid. Sorry for hijacking the show.
No worries. So we're
love the passion.
Yeah.
The second hour, Paul, you know, usually. It's
Well,
your time to shine.
He's energized. All right.
I'm all jacked up on my
Do we want to take some more calls? I see Patty in Agawam.
He's got to be in a good condition. Hey, Patty.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, you sound calm.
Are you not happy, Patty?
Are you not drunk?
No, just I had my greens today, Paul. So.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's 5:45. It'd be certainly within your element to be drunk at this point.
Sunday fun day.
I just wanted to say one thing and then with a question. Up until like that punt return, when that punt return happened, I was like, geez, I mean, he's been doing it all game. Is Maye going to have to bail us out again? Because up to that point, I mean, the way the defense played, all the friggin' penalties, the guy bailed us out. And then Antonio Gibson came and bailed us out. And my question is, did Drake Maye play his best NFL game today? And I'll take it off air, guys.
Thanks, Patty.
Love the question.
Without giving it any thought, I would say yes.
Yeah, me too.
Well, doesn't it also help that they won? By the way, like it's great to throw for 450.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
you lose the game,
But if I thought if he I don't remember him having games with no mistakes.
Right.
That's why I would say today. Like if they had lost the game 27-23, I would say today was his best game, even though they lost. But I don't remember him. Mike and I mean, he goes 19 for 23. He only had 4 incomplete passes the whole game.
Right.
Do you remember anything resembling a turnover? in
no,
this
there
game?
wasn't. There was nothing resembling a turnover. But you said I'm here for the Pitnicks earlier, didn't you?
Sure. Yep.
And the telegraph lateral screen pass, he was going to Rhamondre Stevenson
But that's the play.
No, I know.
Screen
but,
passes, that's the
yeah,
play.
but I mean, the defense sat there and watched the entire thing like that was an easy one to sniff out, Paul. That's all I'm saying.
No,
like I
but-
think he's got. There was another play earlier in the game where he's rolling out. He's looking in the middle of the field. He looks off, and then he gets Hunter Henry along the sideline for an 8 or 9. That was a great job of him using his eyes, I thought, on that one play.
Yeah, I just think a screen pass, you got to call the play. I mean,
I know,
that's
but
the
he
play.
telegraphed that, and I think that when he knows that the defender's all over him, throw it to his ankles. Unless you think that
Yeah.
was a lateral.
No, well, that's what they called it, a lateral.
Right.
To which I would say I don't like the design of the play if it's supposed to go backwards.
Right.
But
I would just
I
say,
don't know. But that's a fair nitpick.
Based on quarterback ranking, Drake Maye had a 137.3 today. That is far
Has to
and
be his
away
highest, right,
His
Mike?
best game. The second highest from last year, 109.7 against Jacksonville. He was 26 of 37 for 276 yards, 2 touchdowns,
And I thought
no
he was
interceptions.
largely garbage. See, that's an example. He was garbage in that game.
And the Rams was the second one where he's 29 of 39, 2 touchdowns, an interception.
He was a little better
282
in that
yards,
game.
100.6. Those are only 3 times in his career he's been over.
The Jacksonville game, if you recall, they were getting absolutely boat raced, and he put together a couple of cold cream on the
by
makeup
the way,
touchdown drives in the fourth quarter, which makes that a 100 passer rating. He did not play well in that game.
Did you say
cream?
Put a little cold cream on that makeup.
Is that like a night? Oh, yeah,
makeup calls.
Did you say 4 incompletions?
4 incompletions. He was
There
19
was
for
only
23.
one of them.
I like the vision.
That I think it was in the second half. Who did he have sort of in the middle of the field?
Diggs, and he patted himself.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But I
Remember
think,
that
and
play.
they talked about it on the broadcast.
I agree.
I think it's on
He
Diggs.
wanted him to sit down.
I think he threw it exactly where he wanted to,
Exactly.
and based on where the defense was, I think he's right.
Right.
But I like that he
The
did this.
accountability.
Take ownership.
Yeah.
Especially with Diggs.
Right.
Smart move.
Don't worry, it's not your fault.
Yeah,
I
no,
never blame you.
Steph,
Obviously
baby.
me, baby.
I got you.
Bubba,
It's me,
Bubba. I got you. I'm trying to keep you out of harm's way, bro.
1,000 yards, you, me, we're going there, baby.
Only if it's a 28-game season.
All right, let's hear what Russ in Westfield has to say.
Rusty.
Yeah, hi everybody. Paul took a little bit of my thunder, so here's the one play I'm thinking about. We mentioned fourth and 2 late in the game. It looks like they lined up and they're going to try to fake them offsides and then settle for the field goal. I don't know if that's happened. You can just clear on that one, but they should have went for it, and I'll tell you why. Paul nailed it too. They get the first down. it's over. Game's over. That's the nail. Good. They don't get it. You're still up by 3. You lose by a touchdown. Okay. You kick the field goal. You still lose by a touchdown. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
I would have went for it. So I want every one of your opinions. And I was watching it in the moment. I'm not like after, and I'm so happy they won. But the bottom line is, man, 4th and 2. Nail. And I would have punted, Paul. That would have, I think you're on the 30-yard line.
Yeah, but the 4th and 2, they ended up jumping offside to make it 4th and 7. That's when they kicked the field goal. But I would have gone for it. I agree with you. Everything you said, I agree with.
Absolutely. Yeah, and how about everybody on your panel? They all think they should have went for it because that ends the game. That ends the game right there. And if you don't get it, well, you can't lose on a field goal. It goes to overtime.
I would have punted.
You can lose on a touchdown.
I said it in the moment. I would have punted, and I would have made him drive it down and kick the field goal.
Mike?
Yeah, you can't punt it very far.
I struggle with these. I mean,
I like Russ. He's like me. He's obsessed with the minutia.
No, he sounds great.
They come down and get a field goal. It's overtime. Well, okay, but you get that first down. It's over. Forget the punt. Forget anything else. You win it on that play. 4th and 2 yards.
I would have gone for 4th and they were
going
Russ,
for it on
we're
4th
going to keep saying they were going for it on 4th and 2.
Mike said it.
Morgan Moses went offside and made it 4th and 7.
They couldn't.
Yeah.
And much like Belichick, he made it a 4th and 10. It was 4th and 7. There's a difference. Like Belichick used to do that all the time. I'm going to lie on the margins to make myself look better.
Yeah.
But it was 4th and 2. They were going for it from the 30. They were going for it. They absolutely were going for it. Now maybe Russ is right, and the goal was to try to draw him offside. And wouldn't that have been the perfect way to end that mess of a game?
Yeah.
Is the Dolphins jumping offside?
Right.
Unfortunately, Morgan Moses jumped offside.
No, I like it. I think I was just in the moment. There's certain appeal of make them have to go the length of the field for a touchdown with one timeout. That was what was in my head. But I can't be hypocritical because I really complimented them for going for it 4th down early in the game. So if you're going to say, I'm good with an early game, like you wanted that aggression, go for it.
You wanted to be
close it out.
consistent.
And there was another 4th down that maybe had some discussion. I know that CBS discussed it a little bit with J-Mac and Charles Davis. They had a 4th and goal from the 4 that they kicked a little chip shot field goal. I think that was a no-brainer. I would have kicked the field goal there.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason to give up points. Your offense was drive, touchdown, drive, touchdown, drive. Let's get points. Let's not give Miami any reason to feel good about itself when they haven't stopped us all day yet. I would have kicked that field goal on 4th and goal from the 4 like they did.
All right, we have some more emails. Let's see, who is this? Mike in Binghamton, New York. He said, I was wondering what you guys thought about Mapu's performance. We talked about him just a little bit. It seemed like I didn't see him in the first half and then noticed him quite a bit in the second. Also, I saw on X that Morgan Moses was in a walking boot in their locker room. What did you see out of Marcus Bryant in the summer? Because I think he's a backup tackle on the right side.
Yeah, Mike said that he would be the guy that would start.
Yeah.
And Moses was on the injury list, just questionable with the foot.
Yeah.
So that makes sense that he might be doing something after, because did he go wire to wire, I think?
I believe he did.
Yeah.
Right? I believe he did, yeah. To be honest, I didn't really even clock Mapu until he got the interception.
Yeah,
so
that's same.
That's how it goes sometimes. But I think that's a good piece to go back and look at when you're trying to think of potential things to change up or potential things to go to. I don't know if we're at that point just yet, but Marty Mapu's new to this position. It's been a lot of talk over the couple years he's been here.
What
that he's
is his
best fits
position?
as a linebacker,
Right.
and now he's finally getting a chance as that. I did see him a lot as the up back on the punt team, so he's the personal protector on the punt team. That's an important job too. I don't know how he did on that with the punt return touchdown, but somebody to look at.
But the coach was glowing in his praise for Mapu because of his mentality as the personal protector on the punt team. And he made it a point to say he's engaged. He's really into the meetings. He takes it seriously.
Yeah.
So a guy in his third year, Mike, who you're saying, what's his position?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden somebody's telling him, we need you to be the personal protector. You can go a couple different ways with that.
Yeah.
You might get down and out and say, really, this is what I want to do? He's taking the opposite, at least according to Mike, and Mike appreciates that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting that he made it a point to call him out for that and say this is the way to handle it. Loves the way he's engaged with it and taking on the position.
It's great stuff. I love when somebody that you didn't really clock during the game that you can go back, look at a little bit to see if there's some potential there, because there's not a lot of depth right now. And so if a young player is blossoming and potentially has some potential, that'd be a great thing.
And having that mentality to just step in wherever you're needed
and
is
that's
important. You
so
need that.
him too.
Yeah.
He's one of those SFG serious football guys. Like he's not here to have fun in games.
Ego,
He's here to study his playbook and talk ball and play. All right.
All right. Well, wow. Are we hitting the end of the show?
That's it.
That
Yes,
time flies
you did
when
it,
you're
Corny.
having fun and it's a good show.
They're giving us the Oscar music.
I know. It's playing us off.
Playing us off.
Any
It's the
final
Emmys.
words?
It's the Emmys tonight, Paul.
The final
Oh,
words
yes,
for
it
the
is
final
the
time.
Emmys.
No, nice win for the organization, for Mike Vrabel, for Drake Maye. But you got to build off of it. You got to be better than this. You got to clean up some of the mistakes. But in terms of a week 2, hard to remember last time they had a big win like this that you feel good about. So great win for them, and on to Pittsburgh.
On to Pittsburgh. All right, before we go, football fans, you know that traditions matter, turning moments together into truly something epic. They're what inspire us to make our masa en Tostitos the traditional way, starting with whole corn kernels, no artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives, all to give you that perfect crunch. Discover your next tradition this football season. Just head to the store, grab your Tostitos team bag, and scan that code for a chance to score an epic experience with the Patriots. Tostitos, traditions matter. And finally, Pats fans, game day is still here, so stock up now. Grab a refreshing Pepsi Zero Sugar 12-pack right now because tailgating deserves Pepsi. That does it for our Patriots post-game show presented by DraftKings. For Paul Perillo and Deuce and Maddie No Socks, I still need to figure out what that means. I'm Kwani Lunis. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back next week.
Hey, this is Evan. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure to like us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure to follow on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.